A big what's up to everybody, welcome back to the channel. This video is long overdue. I apologize for not putting out any analytical content regarding this season, specifically this collection of 76ers. I had a video for y'all last week ready to go, but somehow right before I was going to upload it to YouTube, the file deleted itself. I was so upset, dog. I wasn't really even looking forward to this season with all the drama surrounding the team. Not gonna lie. I was completely indifferent off of this season and honestly wasn't really with the ish. But it's all good because we here now with a surprise, to say the least. But I do owe y'all a prediction video as well as a Sixers schedule video. So in this joint, I'm going to try and combine those three and do just that. But with that being said, sub a brother up for more unique Sixers content because you know what we do here. We are almost at 900 subscribers. I appreciate everybody who has been supporting me this far. We are on the road to 1K subs. Without further ado, let's get to the video. Call me Ben Simmons' non-existent jump shot. After 10 games, your Philadelphia 76ers are in first place in the Eastern Conference, sitting atop the jump at 8-2. And let me tell you right now, I did not believe that we were going to be this hot starting out this season. And not even just with number 25 acting like a complete young bull, just with all the injuries and protocol outs that we have. The Sixers are actually playing very well. And dare I say, legit. Let me throw out some stats that might interest you, just might. We are first in the league in three-point percentage, first overall field goal percentage in the league. We are tied for third with most blocks. To round out, we are top 10 in field goals made at 9th, free throw percentage 4th, and the 4th best plus or minus in the league. We are first in offensive rating. We are 15th in defensive rating, the middle of the pack. 4th overall net rating, and 5th assist to turnover ratio. You know what that means? The 76ers are playing very efficient basketball. The small sample size is showing that the 76ers are a tad bit better offensively without Ben Simmons in the lineup, but we have dropped drastically defensively. We were top, 5, probably top 3 in defense last year, and now we are 15th, so you kind of do expect this. I didn't think that our offense was going to drop off that much. Of course, I did think our threes would probably go down, but the Sixers are proving bulls wrong. Even me. I have no problem admitting to the world that I was wrong. Thus far, I am proud of this team, and you should be as well. Let's take a look at a few of the games that our Sixers have played thus far, and I want to dive into mainly the actual losses and talk about certain games that we won, which I think are pertinent to build off of. Let's take a dive, shall we? So, the 2 losses that the 76ers have acquired thus far this season came at the hands of the Brooklyn Nets and New York Knicks. Interesting how it has both been by New York City teams. Y'all already know how I feel about those boys. Game 2 occurred on Friday, October 22nd against the Brooklyn Nets. It was at home where we lost 114 to 109, and this was the typical 76ers game. Bulls were up the whole game, only to lose their lead in the final moments of the joint. Now, the culprit here was Mr. Glenn Rivers. Recall, we are not calling him Doc no more this season and moving forward until he sharpens up and fly right. He missed 2 challenge calls that could have ultimately turned the game around. And this is honestly still the same old thing. The Sixers need a closer. This was obviously apparent even without number 25 in the lineup. We haven't had a closer since Mr. Jimmy Buckets. Now, I do have to give the 76ers their props. I thought this was going to be a big blowout against the Sixers. Just because, we're facing James Harden and Kevin Durant. The Sixers did show some fight, and that, my friends, will be a theme with this team going forward. Game 4 occurred on Tuesday, October 26th, one day after my birthday, against the New York Knickerbockers, or the New York Knicks, where we lost 99 to 112. We were at the Garden. The score honestly didn't give the game justice. It was much worse, in my opinion. The Sixers had no offensive flow nor defensive intensity. Now, looking at this game overall, the Sixers historically play bad against teams with multiple off-the-dribble guards, i.e. the old Raptors with Van Fleet, Kyle Lowry. I'm missing one more guard, Norman Powell. They used to always give us fits, as well as the old Nets, with Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, D'Lo. So this wasn't, unexpected. Like, I knew the actual L was coming, just not that quickly, though. Like, the Knicks really put a whooping on us. Like, I wasn't really trying to overreact to that game because, once again, we usually play horribly against off the dribble guards, teams with multiple off the dribble guards. So, like, what can you do? But the one thing that I did not like was the body language of the team, especially our captain, Embiid. He still gets upset when we're not playing well or he doesn't get calls. Grow up, bro. Like, seriously. Like, look, it's the NBA. Sometimes things aren't going to go your way. I just don't like that attitude, bro. Like, come on now, because every time Embiid gets upset and he pouts, that always permeates through the rest of the squad. Like, nah, dog. Like, you're having a bad game. Be professional. Just get through it. Now, we almost did make a comeback. I think it was towards the end of the fourth. Towards the middle of the fourth. We like cut it to like 9 or like 11, and Maxey missed a 3, which could have cut the lead to single digits. So the Sixers do have some fight. I do appreciate that. Now let's talk about our wins. The squad got some dubs against the Pelicans, the Blazers, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Atlanta Hawks, twice against the Pistons and twice against the Bulls. Now my favorite games of that conglomerate was the Blazer game, the Hawk game, and the last Bulls game. We still see that the Sixers have played down to their opponent, having close games with the Pistons and Thunder. But overall, I'm loving the cohesiveness this team is playing as a unit. A lot of these games we should have lost, or at least, should have lost. But the fact that we are playing as one with vibes, good coaching, says a lot about this overall group. Players are stepping up in their increased roles. 7 players, count them, 7 players, 7 jugadores, right, are averaging double-digit points on this team for the first 10 games. We are deep, and we always have been deep, but the consistency there with the squad, with the bench, hasn't been there, and so far, the bench has been looking on some ish. Now, long-term, a bench cannot help you carry, or a bench is not going to carry you to a championship. You're still going to need star players. But for the terms of the regular season, the squad is looking fantastic. We beat the Blazers not being full strength, giving Dame something to look forward to when he ultimately becomes a Sixer in the next few years. Trounced, annihilated, embarrassed the Hawks, giving Trae Young a dose of his own medicine. The Bulls game, last night's Bulls game. In years prior, we was going to lose that game after Zach hit that step back 3 with like 5 minutes left, us relinquishing of a 10-point lead. The Sixers usually are deflated at that point, and we usually just give up. But we showed fight. Those are the type of wins that good squads have. And all the while, us not having 3 starters, mainstays. Isaiah Joe's out too. Matisse Thybulle's out too. And we still beat one of the upper echelon Eastern teams. At least that's what the media and overall NBA fandom is saying. These wins matter, and these wins talk about the core of this team. We have vibes, bro. Team chemistry is up 1,000, up 100,000, bro. I'm still not necessarily convinced that, we are a top 3 team overall. We're going to see in the next, few games, just because a gauntlet schedule is coming. A gauntlet schedule is coming. But you have to give credit where credit is due. Should I even talk about number 25? Whatever, sure. He looking like a dummy, bro. Like, the boy is sick as hell right now. And he looks like, you look nutty, bro. Like, imagine you being that petty, that childish, to not want to help the best team in the league right now, record-wise, and who are winning in spite of your antics. Like, you a nut, bro. Ben Simmons is really a nut because he's hurting his cause. Like, let's say he does come back and the Sixers start losing, which, I mean, mathematically, you would assume, or odds-wise, you would assume would happen regardless. Everybody and their mom is going to blame him. he is setting himself up for more failure. And for what? Because you don't want to shoot no free throws? Over some free throws, bro. Like, you a nut, bro. Like, it's done. It's okay. Regardless, Mr. Daryl Morey must be a fan of my channel, because what he said on the Mike Missy show about keeping Simmons until a difference maker becomes available is what I have been saying and preaching forever. And y'all know I'm not spicing that, but just stay the course. Find Simmons until he wants to play basketball, because we're not trading you, dog. Like, you sick. And I'm mad at you because you know you was my boy, but you sick. Coming into the season, my personal predictions was that Joel Embiid would win MVP just because he would have to step up with Ben Simmons not being on the team. He started off slow. He did start off slow, but he's starting to get in his groove. A lot of players actually have been slumping coming into this year, so it hasn't just been Embiid for a lot of the Embiid doubters out there. The second one is, I honestly don't think Ben Simmons is getting traded this season. Maybe that's a hot take. I think he's going to be here until next off season, and I mean maybe even further. I just don't see us giving him up this soon, even with our hot start. The third one was Furkan makes the leap, and he has been, you know, playing more consistently. He really has. Shout out to the Turkish Delight. I still need more consistency. It's either he's dropping 20 points or he's dropping 3 points, but good on him. 4, we eventually trade for a solid veteran PG, and he doesn't even have to be that flashy. He just needs to be solid, like a floor general. Think like Ish Smith and the impact he had on that, 2014, 2015 Sixers team. We need a player just like that who can get us to the rim, who can drive to the rim and set up the offense. That'll make us even more deadly. And I also predicted that the bench would improve greatly, and we already know how that has shown itself up to this point in the season. Moving forward, I want to see more Andre Drummond points. Now, yes, he hasn't been playing that much just because Embiid been putting in work, but he's only averaging like 5.9 points. I'm gonna need some more impact from him coming off of the bench. But other than that, the Sixers have been a pleasant surprise, and I know everybody feels me when I say that. We are 8-2 coming out the gate, the hottest start since 2001, and that is including last season too. The Sixers are playing inspired ball surrounding all the dysfunction they have, and it's crazy because they definitely did tell us they was going to be focusing on ball and having vibes this year. So, what do you think of the Sixers up to this point? Can we sustain this hot start going further into the season? I want to thank everybody for pulling up and listening to A Brother Think. Like, comment, share, subscribe with a Sixers fiend if you feel so inclined. As always, and I can say this right now, I'm happy that I can say this again. As always, them Bulls are mad because the process worked or is continuing to work. My name is Cayenne, and I will see y'all next time.